Many of us drive the streets of our hometowns or walk the sidewalks of our own neighborhoods with little or no concept of how many people went this way before us. Right here on Main Street in Klamath Falls, there's well over a century of history tied up in the shops and offices that are located in some of these old buildings. Take this place, for instance, Black Dog Billiards. For most of us, it's primarily a pool hall. For some of our older residents, they may remember it as Dick Reader's men's store. But there's even some more interesting historical moments happening in the secret corners of this old building. So check this out. We're in the basement of Black Dog Billiards, and there's a vault door with the words, "The Evening Herald and Klamath News." And this is one of many signs that we think the local newspaper used to operate out of the basement of this building. So we're here on the second floor, and although it doesn't look like much now, back from the 1900s through the 50s, they used this as an office space for doctors and lawyers and other professionals. So up here on the third floor is the best part. You see, this building was constructed in 1910 by the International Order of Odd Fellows. They were one of several very active fraternal groups in town over 100 years ago. The IOOF organization moved out of this building several years ago, but look what we have right here. This is one of two ceremonial rooms that basically hasn't been touched since the Odd Fellows moved out years ago. The wood paneling is still there, the high ceilings, and many of the same fixtures that were here 100 years ago. Oh, and these historic photos you're seeing in this video, they're all from the files kept down at the Klamath County Museum. We're here at another important building on Main Street. Nowadays we refer to it as the Medical Dental Building, but before it was built by the Oregon Bank. It was built in 1930, right before the Great Depression. The Oregon Bank went bust within a few years, but this incredibly sturdy building remained. For many years it housed offices for doctors and dentists. This six-story building is now on the National Register of Historic Places, but it's still occupied by a variety of working professionals. Sometimes when you've got only a few minutes, stop in for a ride in this building's elevator. It's the only one in the region that's still operated by a human attendant. Before the Oregon Bank building was constructed more than 80 years ago, the community's Central Elementary School was located here. This old building was constructed in 1905 and occupied the entire block from 8th to 10th Street. Oddly enough, this impressive building lasted only a little more than 20 years before it was torn down to make way for the bank building. There are many more historic buildings on Main Street. Let's take a look at one more, the Creamery. Locals often come to the Creamery to socialize or watch a sports event nowadays, but before it was an actual creamery, and they would come here to socialize drinking a milkshake or perhaps having an ice cream cone. The Klamath Falls Creamery was one of several dairies that operated in Klamath Falls in the early 1900s. Dozens of farmers in the area used their own cars or trucks to bring their milk to town in cans, and the creameries processed the milk right here. They also made cheese, butter, and ice cream and delivered these products to homes, schools, and businesses. There are still a few big dairy farms in Klamath County, but all the milk is shipped to the Willamette Valley now, and the days of Meadowbell milk or Crater Lake ice cream are long gone. Klamath Falls is, of course, a great place to live, but it's the history of these old buildings that really adds a special significance to the downtown district. The Klamath County Museum is dedicated to preserving that history and telling the story to these future generations.